Welcome to Layer, and this is my first real video about upgrading my Centuri Carbon, my brand new 3D printer that I love. Printed everything in blue and a little bit of black, all in inland PLA. First off, we got this little screen accent, a tool organizer, and these blue accents for the side panels that are actually meant for a side door kit, but I thought they looked nice. There's a ventilation system up top with some really nice lighting. Hopefully this should make my time lapses and any future videos just that much better. The other side of that accent panel and a lid holder. For when I take that glass lid off top, don't want to break it. Say hello to Evie. That's a good girl. So, here's what I needed, what I think you might need. A clip. I printed the little structure side pieces. And here's all the little fins. And I think you need a flathead. Maybe glue. And a razor would be nice. We'll talk about the glue later. It's very controversial. But yeah, use the flathead, I think, or something similar to get into those fins and kind of break them apart. And I'll show you how to do that. And that little nub likes to stick. So you can see when I freed up, I like to use this knife. If I can point, there we go. Kind of show you in there, kind of pry in between those two layers to get it loose. Yeah, that's what the printer looks like without the riser. This is me freeing up those fins like I told you about. The bottom of these prints is a solid layer, so it looks like these fins are kind of enclosed and they wouldn't drag against the top of the printer. They kind of have their own channel to slide back and forth in, but to me it seemed like there was 3 tabs on each side of the center. I think I point at some point, but maybe like 2 fins in and then 2 back from there. You'll hear a little pop as you push. And the fins will actually start to wiggle around. And I think that one was pretty easy if I remember right. I didn't have to get in there with the knife or anything. And what I found out is just give it a bunch of wiggles back and forth as soon as you get it freed up, and it makes the action really smooth. And these things, you can move them either left or right to completely open the vents. Dealer's choice. So here I'm breaking the last one. And yeah. So thanks for coming to my video. If you get a moment, please like and subscribe. I'm brand new to this YouTube thing. Kinda. I'd appreciate it. This is my hobby. I'd like to grow it. But thanks for just being a part of my journey. There, something kind of interesting. You see me get the knife in there. That last one must have been pretty stubborn. But I like this color blue a lot. It's Egyptian blue inland, and that's the Micro Center, I think, in-house brand, if you don't know. It was relatively cheap. Yeah. Okay, so thus begins the first of many unnecessary steps learned from my errors. I thought it would be a good idea to put a bunch of tape around the sides so I could kind of have, a little hairline gap around everything and make sure everything was aligned right. I like to go overkill. This was overkill. I kind of knew it at the time. In these corner pieces, these black corner pieces, I was just making sure they were aligned right. I don't think it mattered too much, but the top of the printer isn't exactly square. And this was me making sure I hit everything, I think, in the right spot. Oh God, you saw my feet. Sorry about that. I think at this point I had glued them a little bit, or just getting ready to glue them, which, okay, the gluing, I told myself it was a bad idea. Sometimes it was a bad idea. Sometimes it was a good idea. I don't think you should glue, though. And we'll talk more about it still. But yeah, here I'm just making sure everything's square. And I found that there was a little bit of wiggle room so that the tape, just kind of became useless at that point. I think that's what convinced me to glue it, too. But really, all the gluing did was help me later putting the lights around the top. But you'll see the end results of gluing later and why they were bad on a different part of this upgrade project, we'll call it. But yeah, I think at this point I had resolved myself to say, well, maybe I'll just, glue the top piece, the top blue piece, and those two black corners to it, and then the bottom blue piece and the two black corners to it that have those two loose side pieces. And if you don't notice there, I almost messed up. You see that notched piece there? It's supposed to hold a riser, and I fixed it in this shot. But the shot before that, it was on the left. So it's good I didn't glue it at that point, but I did glue it later. These things. So I'll include links to everything I've downloaded below, especially if you have this printer, you'll find some of these useful. Most of the people, all the videos on the internet I'm seeing are people are printing these same things, but those specific bars, I forget what it's called, a top support or something. I thought it would help with the glass. It doesn't seem to even touch the glass. They're supposed to be for LED bar lights. That's why you see those notches that are on the bottom side right now. But I had glued it and I used tape. And, got a little bit of tape stickage, but it wasn't bad. The thing that really sucked is, I'm a week into making these mods and I let that maybe not dry totally. And I noticed there was some maybe off-gassing or discoloration from the glue on the top glass of the printer. But it ended up coming off. It was just kind of scary. But it did ruin another part of the printer, which you'll see later. So there's not much drama in this episode, but I'm saving a little bit for the end. But yeah, that piece was nice, and it seemed like it would be a good idea, but it kind of gets in the way of the LED lights. So if you want to use the bar lights, maybe they're meant to be used separate and not the ring of LED lights like I did use. But again, learn from my mistakes. This makes me wonder about other YouTuber creators and, more serious people. Obviously, I'm talking to the camera here, and I didn't save the voiceover. So I don't even remember what I said, and now I'm trying to remember what I said to you, and you can see I'm saying things. I don't know what I was saying. So must not have been important, huh? So this is it. Printer's off, and I've gotten maybe 75% of the total mods together. And it's just me showing you can go left or right to open the vents. And I guess I find front and back open to be the best air for me. It's been really hot lately, and I got a temperature warning actually, because this is kind of close to the window. So I imagine on hotter days, maybe with the lower temperature filaments, keep all of them open. Or maybe that's what I'll use that side thing for, the side glass panel holder. But there's my lights. And I didn't really film the process of me running along the side of, it's self-adhesive. You tear the backing off and you run it along the top. It's very easy. And I wanted to try to find a nice light set with a nice diffuser because I don't like those individual LED lights, but didn't turn out that good. And that was Zeke, our other cat. And this is the tool holder. And I liked the design. I thought magnets were a great idea, but more glue. And this actually called for glue. I don't recommend glue. I don't want to talk bad about this model. Maybe I had to have done something wrong here. But this ruined the side of my printer. So maybe I used too much glue is what I'm thinking. Maybe I didn't let it dry long enough. And to add insult to injury, these magnets aren't strong enough. This tool holder's starting to slide down the side of the printer now. And here's the shots of the staining. And I didn't know what this was at first. I was like, what the heck? Is this a reflection? No, it was, you can see the 3 rings from that tool holder, and that's where I keep it. Yeah, it messed all up. So I tried putting a piece of tape behind it to see if that would help. But it just, that's what started it sliding down. I took the piece of tape off, and now it won't even stick to the side anymore. So just terrible news. So learn from my mistakes again. I don't want to talk bad about the model. Anyway. Alright, and here we go. This is me putting on those side accents. Sorry I didn't film this. I really needed all my hands for this job. It was really finicky. I'd laid the other side down. Like, I laid the printer down on its side to put the other pieces down, and that was not the right way to do it. I don't know if the way I'm showing you right now is the right way to do it either. But these pieces were finicky. And this order seemed to be the best for me. Yeah. They look cool. Totally unnecessary. Unless you want to do the filament roll inside the printer, which seemed like a cool idea. So maybe a part 2, huh? And the screen accent? Another thing, totally unnecessary, but doesn't it look cool? I like those blue accents a lot, so I got those. I guess I need a cool name for the printer now. Well, and here's the final result again. I think it turned out really good. But yeah, now you know what that tool holder hides. But hey, listen, thanks for watching, especially if you made it through the whole video. And if you could please like, comment, subscribe, share this video if you actually liked it, I'd appreciate it.